How's it going, everyone? My name is Chris. I am a recent graduate of Elmhurst University, a good friend of RJ. We get to know each other really well in college through Cru Campus Ministry. So I'm here to talk to you all a little bit more about how I keep a positive image of myself in a media-driven world. So I think the first place to start, right, is recognizing what media is, where it's at, and how it shows up. So media is everywhere. It's on our phones, it's on the TV, it's on the highway when we drive. And I think media can have such a strong foothold and can hold so much power in today's society. It can influence the way that we think not only about ourselves, but also the way that we show up in different spaces and the way that we treat one another. It kind of tries to influence the mold and the foundation that we kind of root ourselves in. So some ways that I really try and keep a positive outlook on life and just in general, while balancing the influence of media, is really understanding how it's affecting me, right? So when I read something or when I'm on my phone or if I'm on social media, right, am I reading just to read it? Why am I reading it? How is it affecting me? And how is it influencing the way that I'm thinking in that moment, in that day? And if it's not having a positive impact on me in some way, or if I notice it's having a negative impact or making me feel a certain way, I have to take a step back and ask myself, right, is that something that I need to be seeing every day, right? Because I think that if we allow media to influence our lives, negatively or in a negative way, it can really change who we are as a person. So something that I really try and remind myself is the foundation of life, right, that I have built and that I rely on is my relationship with Christ and my faith. And without that, right, I can't build anything on that foundation. And if something else were to come in and try and alter that foundation, I wouldn't be able to build anything on it, So knowing that my identity is rooted in Christ and nothing else. So it doesn't matter what the media is telling me. It doesn't matter what I see on Instagram or what I see on Facebook. There's no one way that I should be, with the exception of being in Christ, with Christ, and trying to live a life that looks more like Christ. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll remind myself, right, am I trying to look more like Jesus every day? Or am I trying to look more like what I see on social media? And if the answer to that question, right, is I'm trying to look more like social media, I have to reflect on what I'm doing and how I'm intaking this media and how it's affecting me, right? Because the ultimate goal is to live a life that looks more like Jesus and to love one another, right? So I think that that's kind of one way that I really try and check myself. And I really try and lean on other people, right? Leaning on other peers and friends, and asking them, hey, what do you think about this? Keeping that accountability, I think, is really key too, in being sure that you are, staying on a path that is leading you towards a life that looks more like Jesus.
Throughout my life, I've had a difficult relationship when it comes to how media plays a role in my life. I have for a long time struggled with how to balance the use of media and my relationship with God. When I was in middle school, I got my first iPhone. I had certain rules that were put in place by my parents. I was not allowed to have any social media accounts, and I didn't get an Instagram until I was an adult. I'm the oldest of 4 girls, which led for me to have a lot of different rules because I was the first child and I was doing everything first. At this time, I had a really hard time understanding why I couldn't have social media accounts. All of my friends had them, so why couldn't I? My friends through youth group would always use Snapchat to talk to each other or share about different events that we were having. My friends would also post pictures of everything that we were doing. It was so important for them to make sure that they got the perfect photo. I felt so left out. Yet, my friends, who are amazing people, were just worried about getting that perfect photo or finding the perfect caption to figure out the perfect light of that photo so that they could have for their Instagram. Everything was so staged. Everything that comes on with social media and media is about presenting a certain image of ourselves. We are presenting an image that is so different from one's true image. God created us in that perfect way in His eyes. But why are we constantly trying to change what we were created in God's image? The world that we live in is completely driven by media, and there is a constant temptation to be something that we're not. And that does not mean that we are doing it in the correct way. We are driven by a world that is media driven. We are not reflecting God. And I think it's very important that we reflect the image of God. Right now, I'm currently in a very special place in my heart. I am in the prayer chapel at my college. This place is so meaningful because I'm able to come here whenever I want, anytime, day or night, and I can take the time to pray, light a candle, and have a relationship with God. And I see God as a friend. I am able to take time away from my cell phone and my social media in order to take time and have a relationship and talk to God. I'm able to pray and develop a stronger relationship with God. That's something that is so important. And yet in life, we're not doing that. So something I want to challenge you all to do is I want you to take at least 15 minutes in the next 2 weeks, maybe once a week, or maybe twice, whatever you feel moved to do, to take time away from your phones and your social media, to spend time with God, to pray to Him, to read the Bible, or do whatever you feel called to do. But to take that time to be alone and meditate and on the word of the Lord. And step away from the social media because we are in a world that is media driven and we don't have to be. Let's be the part of change. Thank you.
So when I think of trying to stay positive in a media-driven world, I think a lot of different things. I would like to give the easy answer saying that I know I'm a beloved child of God and that's all that matters to me. But honestly, that's not always the case. I still struggle sometimes when I see my friends post on social media and get more likes than me on a similar post, or sometimes even just post something and I think, I wish I could have that, or I wish I could do that. It's hard. We live in a world where people post something and your first reaction is to get jealous and to get mad that they got to do that instead of being happy for your friend that that happened for them. I think for me, how I try to stay positive in a media driven world is reminding myself that sometimes good things happen to those who wait, and sometimes other people need a chance to succeed in life and not just you. I know we have this selfish nature inside to just want to succeed over everyone else, but that shouldn't be the case. Why should we be upset that our friend got a promotion at their job or got named captain of a sports team over us? Why should we get upset on that? Why can't we celebrate that our friend got that instead of us? Like, it's okay for other people to succeed over you, and I think that's important for us to know in a society, that other people are allowed to succeed. And I like to celebrate my friends in those things, and I think that's what helps me stay positive in a media-driven world, knowing that other people are okay to succeed and I will get my turn at some point. Another thing I like to do is I like to think before I post. If I'm upset in a situation, I'll just put my phone down and walk away for a little bit. And if I can think of a positive post to post after that, then I'll post it. But if I can't, then I won't. I think that's very important. A lot of social media fights and a lot of fights in our society right now are happening because people are posting before they think. God calls us to be slow in anger and steadfast in love, and I think that's what we need to do as a society. We need to come together and bring each other up and not tear each other down. Right now, a lot of media is tearing people down. They're saying if you don't have this body image or you don't have this job or make this amount of money, you're not going to be successful, when that's not the case. Success isn't something that should be measured as a society. It should be individual goals that you succeed in. My success shouldn't be the same success as yours. You shouldn't look at me and be like, oh, well, RJ's already graduated college and he has a degree and he's got a good job, so I need to achieve that, because that's not what you should do. You should look at what you need to do in your life. Look at the goals you could set for yourself and set them. And once you succeed in those, that's when you're successful. Don't let other people's ideas of success be the reason that you're not happy, because that shouldn't be the case. I've let that happen to me a lot. I've tried out for parts in plays that I didn't get, and instead of being happy for my friends, I was upset for it. I started working at jobs and thought I should get promotions over other people, and when I didn't, I felt very upset, and instead of being happy for them, because I thought that next step, that next process is what I needed to do to stay happy. But that's not the case. Society as a whole makes us think that we need to do small things better than everyone else, when it's really just the things you do inside that you need to do better. You need to set your own goals, you need to set your own strengths, and that's what's important in a media-driven world to stay positive. Have your own goals, have your own things you want to achieve, and don't make them the same as someone else's. Your goals shouldn't be, if only I could look as good as this person, if only I could be as successful as this person, as only if I could score as many goals as this person, or as many points, or play my instrument as well as this person. Because God doesn't call us to be second place to someone else. God calls us to be a beloved child of Him and know that whatever we do in our life is important to Him and important to us. God doesn't care if we finish in first place or last place. God just wants us to celebrate Him in life. And that's how you stay positive in a media-driven world. Don't compare yourself to others, and don't care about what others think. That's what's going to be important to you in your life. And that's how I stay positive in a media-driven world.
Hi, so I'm here to talk about maintaining a positive self-image on social media today. So this is a very, very big and important topic to me today, because social media has such a huge impact on our lives today, just in general. Social media is huge for staying social and talking to your friends and getting to know new people, but it's also a huge deal in the job market nowadays. Like, one of the first things companies do when you apply is look you up on social media and see what you're like, and that's a huge step of the interview process, is passing the background check and passing the social media stock, if you want to put it. But it's a huge deal. And so I'm here to give you guys a few tips and tricks on how to maintain that positive self-image that you want on social media, how to keep yourself looking good, looking professional, and just being the person you want to be on social media. So my first tip is one that I'll go back to a lot. I'll probably repeat myself, but I think it is so, so important, and that is to always think twice before you post something. You don't second guess yourself, but always look at it, take the time to think about it. It's so easy just to click and share, not even think about it, just be like, oh yeah, I like that, share it. But really take a second to stop and read what you're sharing, make sure that you agree with every single part of it, not just the first sentence. And make sure that it's also not just something that you agree with, but something that you want people to know you agree with. Make sure that it's something you want to be known for, that you want to be part of your personality, that you want, that you want people to recognize you as a supporter of. This is a big deal today with all of the movements that are happening and all of the laws and the political changes and just everything today. There's a lot of controversy today, and people are very open about sharing it on social media, which is a great thing. You should always share your opinions on social media. That is not what I'm trying to say. But make sure that if you are sharing something that somebody else posted and not making your own, make sure that you agree with everything that they're saying. Make sure that it's something that you want to put off as your own opinion, because sometimes you might read the beginning half of it and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I support this, I want people to know about it, so I'm going to share it. But maybe you didn't read that second half, and maybe that second half gets a little violent or gets a little aggressive, or they start to say stuff that you don't agree with, and now it's too late because you already shared it, and so you can't take that back. So my biggest thing is always think twice about the things that you share, the things that you post, and make sure that you want people in your life to know that that is your opinion. My second tip kind of goes off of this, but it also goes on like making your own personal posts. So I always have this thing of like, I post on Instagram a lot and I enjoy doing that and I like writing captions and I think it's fun. But every time I post on Instagram, my first thought is, would I want my grandma to see this? And so for you, you don't have to use your grandma, but like use like any more conservative person in your family or anybody that you really respect the opinion of, and think about when you're making a post, is this something I would be okay with this person seeing and I wouldn't feel awkward or embarrassed or like I wouldn't feel weird about it? So like for me, that's my grandma. I always think about, okay, if I post this, would my grandma think it's cute, or would my grandma be like, why are you doing that? Or like she would be like, that's weird. So I always think about my grandma. I always think about her opinion. For example, it was summer like a month ago and I'm a girl and I post swimsuit pictures. Everybody does. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's always a better way to do things. So like if you're posting a swimsuit picture and saying like, oh, pool day, beach day, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no like weird connotation to it. It's just you enjoying summer. And I personally don't think that that would be weird to show my grandma. She would just be like, oh, you look so cute. But if I posted a swimsuit picture and put like kind of like a flirty, scandalous caption underneath it, I don't think I would be comfortable sharing that with my grandma, because she would be like, what do you mean by that? Or she'd be like, why are you putting that out there for everybody to see? And so I think like going off of this, like I might sound like I'm rambling, but again, like when you think about somebody else and whether they would want to see it, you're again thinking about it a second time. So that's the biggest thing, is just really sit there and think, is this something that I would want my grandma to see? Is this something I would want my boss to see? Is this something that I want to be put on my name? Is this the image that I want to be showing to the world? And so I think that's always such a big important thing, because even like one tiny caption underneath a picture, like somebody will see it, and that will be like, and you never know what will happen with it. So my biggest thing is, in general, keeping a positive social media aspect is, think of it this way. If a stranger went to your Instagram, went to your Facebook, they've never met you before in their life, they don't know your personality, they don't know who you are, what person would they imagine by looking at your captions, by looking at your pictures? What person would they see? Who would they imagine? And is that person somebody that you like? Do you like the image that other people see of you? And do you like what they imagine when they don't know you? Because that's what's happening when a boss is looking at their picture. This boss has not met you yet. They are making a complete judgment on your personality based on your social media account. And so is that person that they're imagining somebody that matches who you are truly? Or is it somebody that you think is a good reflection of who you are? I think that is the best way to keep a positive social media image, is to be authentic and be genuine. Be the person that you are in person, also on social media. Do not create a false narrative. Do not create a false life, because it's not, like I said, it's false. It's not real. Be the same person in life as in social media, and always think twice before posting. Those are my tips and those are my tricks. I hope I helped at all. I know it kind of sounds repetitive, but I hope this conversation is good, and I hope you're learning something from RJ and Lorraine. Bye.